I think, for me, Manchester United is the hardest football team to play for in the world.
Can imagine.
The hardest football team to play for in the world, right? So much so that virtually every player that leaves them goes on to perform better. Yeah, they look happier. They've got a smile on their face. They're assisting. They're scoring goals. Freedom, as Jadon Sancho says to Marcus Rashford.
Well, those are the words of Ben Foster, the ex-Manchester United goalkeeper. I would like to say, first of all, that I agree with his first statement, but I disagree with the second one. The first statement he said is that Manchester United is obviously the hardest football club to play in the world at the moment. Of course, he's 100% right in that aspect. For instance, we all know how big Manchester United is. But the reason why it's difficult for Manchester United to play Manchester United at the moment is that Manchester United is the most demanding club at the moment. One, if you're a player coming to Manchester United, if you're a manager coming to Manchester United, know for the fact that you are coming to meet the most demanding fans in the world. Demanding in the aspect because the club has an history, which I don't think any manager will be able to replicate in this present era or in the era to come. Of course, we all know what Alex Ferguson did. And we all know how Manchester United have been a big club, if not the best club in the world, for ages. So now you coming to play for Manchester United, or you coming to manage Manchester United. Of course, you know you're coming to meet the demands. The standards have been raised to a height which I don't think it's every player or every manager that can meet to that. So, of course, Manchester United is the hardest club to play in the world because if you are not up to that standard, if you don't have the onions, if you don't have what it takes to meet up to that standard that the club has already been raised to, of course you can never play for Manchester United, or of course you can never manage the club Manchester United. And the second statement he made is that whenever a player leaves Manchester United, they tend to become better. That is obviously it should, but it's not to be blamed on the club. Why I said I disagree in that aspect is that those players that left Manchester United, they didn't become better. They didn't become better because they are only still playing what they have. Because we all know you can't give out what you don't have. What you have actually as a football player or as a professional in any professional field is what you dish out. So those players, they didn't become better. They're only giving out what they can give. They're only giving out or playing the ability they have, which does not meet the standard of the club they are leaving, and in this case, Manchester United. So you want to tell me that Anthony becomes better? You want to tell me that Marcus Rashford becomes better? Hold that. What Marcus Rashford is actually doing for Aston Villa, he did more than that while in Manchester United. You all can go. The records are still there. The football videos are still there. Marcus Rashford did that, but because of the high demand and the high standard that has been placed in Manchester United, he doesn't meet that level. Anthony doesn't meet that level. I'm just using those two players as a case study because they're the ones that just left the club recently. Or you want to talk about Jadon Sancho. What Jadon Sancho did for Manchester United is actually more. He did more for Manchester United than what he's actually doing for Chelsea at the moment. But Chelsea fans, they're happy with it because of the standard the club is. Because of the standard the club Chelsea is. And we all know the standard Manchester United is. Oh, now you want to look about Anthony. You are saying that Anthony is doing better for Real Betis. No. Anthony is still playing what he's playing, but the standard he's playing for Real Betis, or the standard that Real Betis have as a club, he's okay with that. His level or what he's dishing out for them is okay. But you cannot dish out that same standard. Anthony did more for Manchester United than what he's doing for Real Betis. The records are still there. We can still go back and play back the video. So you telling me or putting the blame on Manchester United is a big lie. It's a big lie. The whole problem boils down to either the players or the manager that are coming to Manchester United. Okay, now you want to look at Bruno, for instance. Another player that has been in Manchester United since, it seems, January 2020, if I'm not mistaken. You want to tell me that Bruno has become worse for Manchester United than what he was at than what he was dishing out at FC Sporting, that's Sporting Lisbon? It's a big lie. Bruno is a player of standard and he meets, or how will I put it, the level Manchester, or the standard that Manchester United have been uplifted to. Bruno fits it perfectly. Let's look at another player that came to Manchester United, Cavani. Even at his old age, he has lost his prime. He came to Manchester United. He has that standard and he met with the standard of Manchester United and he performed with it. Let's look at another player, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Of course, we always say that before Zlatan came to Manchester United, he's out of his prime. But look at what he did for Manchester United while he was there. He performed greatly because he's a player with that standard. So you shouldn't, or we shouldn't put the blame on the club, Manchester United, but rather we should be talking about the players. That's why I'm more concerned about recruitment this time around. Manchester United, if you are recruiting players, ensure you are bringing in players that meets to the standard of the club. Or you want to tell me that Rasmus Højlund became a worse player for Manchester United, then if he leaves, he will become a better player? It's a very big lie. It's a very big lie and a big lie. So don't tell me. Okay, now let's look at another recent example. What's his name? Joshua Zexi. Joshua Zexi, I just hope he will turn out to become a better player for Manchester United, because what he is showing right now in these few games for Manchester United, he didn't show that while he was at Bologna, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Bologna? Yes. So it all boils down to the player. The blame shouldn't be placed on the club. That's the message I'm trying to pass. So, Ben Foster, you saying that Manchester United is a difficult, they're one of the difficult clubs to play in the world. You are right, but the players becoming better while they leave the club is a big lie, because they are still playing what they are playing, and the standard doesn't meet the standard of Manchester United, and the standard suits to the present club they are moving to. So that's the message I want to pass and clarify his statement, that the blame shouldn't be placed on the club, but rather on the players. And recruitment staff Manchester United should be more cautious about that. Mind the kind of players you're recruiting or bringing into the club. But you want to tell me Victor Osimhen will become like all this? I don't really want to talk. All these players we're having in Manchester United, if Victor Osimhen moved to Manchester United, they will start playing like them. Never. Because he has his standards. Please, we should go for that standard while recruiting player next in the club. So Ben Foster, you've made your point, but stop ridiculing the club.